to say hello to the booktubers of the world. Oh, he's so cute. Right now he is fascinated by my front door because there was noise out there a couple minutes ago in the hallway, so he's on high alert. I cannot hold him and the books at the same time. It's not possible. Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I'm Angela and this is my dog Max. He is my unofficial co-host who wants to go bark at someone in the hallway, so I will let him go do that. He might only be 5 pounds, but he makes a really good guard dog. Today I am sharing my latest book haul. There are a few books. In honor of the Lizzie Bennet Diaries celebrating their 5-year anniversary, I just went back and rewatched the entire series. It had to be done. I knew that there were spin-off books, but I had never read them. First up, we have The Secret Diary of Lizzie Bennet. This book is based on the videos, so I'm really excited to see how the videos translate into a book format. So now it's an adaptation of an adaptation. Next up, we have The Epic Adventures of Lydia Bennet. I kid you not, the Lizzie Bennet Diaries has the only Lydia adaptation I like. Every other adaptation, she's still that annoying character that you know what's gonna happen. I have seen pretty much every single adaptation of Pride and Prejudice ever made, and the Lizzie Bennet Diaries has the first adaptation of Lydia that I've ever liked. She was feisty, she was energetic, she was a little sassy, she was just so much fun to watch. This book continues the story of Lydia after the series ended. I cannot wait to see what happened with Lydia. I need to know what happens next in the life of Lydia Bennet. I just need to know. A lot of the books in today's haul video were recommended to me over on Goodreads. If you take the time to recommend something to me, I will look into it. I will. If someone takes the time to look at what I'm requesting or look at my interests and then recommend a book to me, I am going to take that seriously. I'm going to be so thankful for that recommendation and then go check it out. And a lot of the recommendations people have are spot on. I love getting book recommendations and I take them very seriously. And that's where a lot of these books came from today. Starting with Noggin, which was recommended to me by Rylee. When she sent me her recommendation, she included a little write-up, which is part of the reason why I bought the book. It was so intriguing. This is a great novel in a contemporary setting. In case you haven't realized it, I kind of love contemporary, so my interest was already piqued. But with a futuristic quality. The main character gets his head put onto a different body years after being frozen before surgery became an option. It is a struggle of going from a teenager who had cancer to being fully healthy but still being a teenager while everyone else he knew has gotten older and lived their lives without him. Listen, I was alive once, and then I wasn't. Now I'm alive again. Simple as that. Life can go straight to your head. This book sounds amazing. I actually never picked this book up before. I don't know if it had to do with the cover or if I was just never in the same realm with it. I read so much and there are always new books being published or featured on my feed, so I never actually came across this one before. It must have just gotten shuffled down the list or it somehow just passed me by. But I am so happy Rylee recommended this to me because this book sounds like something I would really want to read. And it doesn't look to be a particularly long read, so I might try and get started on this later tonight. Next up we have Wander. And this was a book recommendation from Amy Lee. For those of you who have never heard of Wander before, it is about a little boy named Augie. Augie will be entering public school for the very first time as a 5th grader. Being the new kid is difficult enough, but Augie is going to be separated from them even more so because he has a facial deformity. I can already tell I'm going to be rooting for Augie in the worst way imaginable. You just want good things for these characters. And I want to read this book before the movie comes out. And Amy also recommended The Summer I Became a Nerd. Madeline is supposed to be the stereotypical cheerleader, except she has a nerdy side to her. As someone who does fall into the nerd category, I know that there is a little bit of a stigma, so I'm really interested to see how that's played out in this book. Since I am a nerd, I do notice this. There is a difference between a nerd and a geek. I think she falls more into the geek category, so I'm not really sure why she's called a nerd. Although, based on the book summary, wanting to go to live action role plays, going to comic book stores, that's more of a geeky personality than a nerdy personality. But maybe the nerd title is a way to differentiate this from Geekerella. Because when I was reading the book summary, that was the first thing I thought of. Nerds unite. Chantel recommended me The Catastrophic History of You and Me. Essentially, Bree's boyfriend breaks up with her and she dies of a broken heart. Literally, she dies of a broken heart. Her heart breaks, she dies. And that apparently is the introduction. Now that she's passed away, she needs to go through the 5 stages of grief. Except it's not that easy. Dying of a broken heart is just the beginning. Welcome to Forever. The Catastrophic History of You and Me really reminded me of the Ghost in the Goth series, as well as Before I Fall, both of which I enjoy and highly recommend. So thank you for the recommendation, Chantel. Next up in my book haul, we have Love and Other Foreign Words. This book was also recommended to me by Idil. Oh no. Can anyone be truly herself or truly in love in a language that's not her own? Josie lives her life in translation. She speaks high school, college, friends, boyfriends, breakups, and even the language of beautiful girls. But none of these is her native tongue, and love, the most foreign language of all. So when being fluent in true love becomes the only way to avert a sure catastrophe, Josie is forced to examine her feelings for the boy who says he loves her, the sister she loves but doesn't like, and the best friend who hasn't said a word, at least not in a language Josie understands. Another book from my to-be-read list. Next on the list, Boys Don't Knit in Public, and this was a book recommendation from Oda. Chances are, if you've been watching my channel, you know I'm in the process of earning my PhD. One of my areas of interest is gender studies. When I read the summary for this book, it was coming home with me. There was no way I was not buying this book. This book was going to be mine. After an incident regarding a crossing guard and a bottle of Martini Rosso, our protagonist, Ben Fletcher, gets into a little bit of trouble. He is assigned to do community service and take up a hobby. Next up, I needed a contemporary romantic comedy, and I found that in Mismatch. When I came across this book, it gave me definite Jane Austen Emma vibes, so I needed to add this to my book haul. Sasha has a knack for setting people up, but what happens when the high school hottie she starts to develop feelings for wants to be set up with her sister? That scenario reminds me of Emma and Mr. Knightley so much. I love reading romances, pun intended. And speaking of romances, you didn't think I only bought the one romance, did you? You really should know me better than that by now. In all honesty, there probably could have been a third and a fourth in the mix, but my total was starting to add up. So I bought The Queen of Bright and Shiny Things. Sage does her best to be perfect, avoiding relationships, wanting to invest her time elsewhere. Welcome, Max. Meanwhile, Shane just wants to play his guitar. Did you just lick the frame? Silly dog. Meanwhile, Shane just wants to play his guitar. Yet, somehow, sparks fly. While we know opposites attract, can they stay together? What do you think? Do you think they can stay together? And those are all the books in my haul. If you liked today's video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you've not already joined our reader family, please hit that subscribe button. Life doesn't get much better than a lot of books and a cute little puppy. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great reading day.